gamers, GamingWithMelkor here, bringing you another Clash Royale video. Now guys, this is going to be a blind deck challenge. That's right guys, we now have the blind deck challenge, which is live. Now I've just completed in my first blind deck challenge, and unfortunately it wasn't the best, but I did come away with a 9-3 win streak. Obviously I did lose my last one 3-1, but prior to that I had a 1-0 victory. A 1-0 victory, a 1-0 victory, a 3-0 victory, a 3-0 victory, a 1-0 defeat, a 2-1 victory, 2-1 victory, 2-1 victory, 1-0 victory, and unfortunately I did lose my first battle in there as well. So guys, let's kick it off and have a look at one of these replays. Which one do we like the look of first? Well, we have had some interesting decks here, including a Lava Hound deck in which we was 2-1. We had a Hog Rider deck with a P.E.K.K.A where we won 2-1. But let's have a look at one of the others. So we had a 3-0 victory with a Giant there. A 3-0 victory again with a 3 Musketeers. Combined with a Double Prince, but I don't think I ever actually played the 3. So guys, let's kick it off with a 1-0 victory here where we had the Expo going up against the Royal Giant. Now these decks that they're throwing up are absolutely crazy. They're all fun to play, but I tell you, some of them are absolutely down on the field. That Bomber, though, is unfortunately going to take out most of those. So guys, we're just going to let this Elixir build back up before we decide what we're actually going to do. We're always going to be mindful of that Royal Giant. So because the Royal Giants go down and we have that Bomber in the back, we are going to drop down that Valkyrie to take out both of those. Our opponent obviously does rage up there, getting that tower down to 467. But we're going to try and counter this now with a big push down this side. Unfortunately, our opponent places a very well placed Valkyrie there, taking out nearly all of my troops, meaning we're not now going to get onto that tower with all those troops. Now we are going to get a few hits off here with that Knight, that Skeleton and that Spear Goblin, getting that tower down to 842. So a little bit there. Now obviously, as you can see, we're still in a losing position here, but there's plenty of time to counteract that. So we drop down that Furnace and we have that Tombstone down as well. Now our opponent is trying to arrow down this tower, thinking if he can hold me up, he can just arrow me down, which was a good ploy. So I dropped down my Valkyrie, followed by the Valkyrie and the Expo. Now all my troops are going down here to try and get in front to support that Valkyrie. Unfortunately, our opponent does place his own Valkyrie, putting us under severe pressure. So my Musketeer goes in back purely on defense here. As you can see, in come those arrows. Our opponent is trying desperately to actually get that tower down with those arrows. Now we have our Valkyrie, our Knight, Musketeer, and all of our troops here trying to take them out. We are going for one. Now this was quite an entertaining battle again, which led to another 1-0 victory. As always guys, remember to wish your opponent good luck. So we're going to drop the P.E.K.K.A in the back and try and do a bit of a slow push. Wait to see what our opponent does. As always, nice to see our opponent wish in the back. Wait to see what our opponent's going to do. Now he drops a Musketeer on the opposite side of the field. Now at this point I'm thinking about whether I should actually ignore that Musketeer or not, but we're going to wait to see what our opponent does before making that decision. Then our opponent drops the Giant. So down goes the Bomber to try and take out the Musketeer as well, and then I drop down my Skeleton army. Unfortunately our opponent does use his arrows there, but as you can see I've supported my P.E.K.K.A with those archers going down that left hand side. Now our opponent does place that miner there to try and save him and uses that zap spell, but 1 hit, 2 hit, taking that tower down, giving us a 1-0 lead within the first minute. Now it's all about concentrating on defense at this point and trying to see if we can hold our opponents off while trying to take this second tower at the same time. So we're going to try another push down the opposite side, so we drop the P.E.K.K.A in the back and wait to see what our opponent's going to do. Now there's still 2 minutes left in this battle, so there's a lot our opponent can obviously do to try and beat us here, but we're going to try and take down this tower. So we drop down that in front there, just for 2 elixir, just as a bit of a buffer there, and obviously the freezing capability when it does explode. So we have the Bomber there in support of the mini P.E.K.K.A, and then we drop the archers down as well. Our opponent miner just to pull that P.E.K.K.A back this way, very well played there. My Skeleton army does go down, but a well placed zap spell there does unfortunately take it out. So we don't actually get anywhere near that second tower. So our opponent is coming at us with that Musketeer, so I'm just going to drop the P.E.K.K.A down as a distraction here, allowing the tower to take out that mini P.E.K.K.A. Sorry, allowing to take out that Musketeer. Again, we drop it in the front there as pure support, and our opponent comes at us with a giant again. Exact same scenario. So again, the mini P.E.K.K.A and the bomber, and now the archers are going to take out that giant. And then we're going to try and take out these troops here. Unfortunately, a well-placed zap spell by our opponent, and a very poor placed zap spell by myself there, unfortunately. Skeleton Army is going to go down to take out that miner there, and then the Ice Golem is going in front purely as a distraction here, same as that bomber. Unfortunately, a ranged musketeer is doing some serious damage to that tower, taking it down to 658. We've got the archers down just in time to take it out. Now, as you can see, our opponent does drop down that tower, so I do throw that goblin barrel. Unfortunately, it is well defended. Down goes my goblin army there, my skeleton army there. But luckily, our opponent is unable to do enough damage on this tower. Down goes the bomber and the ice golem, purely as distraction there, guys. Tower going down to 432, but we come away victorious 1-2-0. Some of these decks, guys, are just so crazy. You would not have these cards normally playing together because the synergy just isn't there. Now, we have got one more replay here, guys, which is a 1-0 victory, where opponent does have the miner in his deck, and he does have the bowler combined with the lightning, which was quite a good distraction to my Hog Rider balloon deck. But this was a fun battle nonetheless. So, guys, as always, wish that opponent good luck. And that's the good thing about this blind deck challenge. You don't know what deck you're going to get, whether it's good, whether it's bad, at least it's fun. And the thing about it, it's just the same for our opponent as well. So our opponent comes at us with a dragon, and that's obviously miner. So we utilise our own troops there as distractions, and we're going to take out that baby dragon. When our baby dragon crosses that threshold, we're going to send in the Hog Rider. But unfortunately, our opponent comes at us there with the bowler and the Mega Minion. So unfortunately, we do lose our dragon before we take out that Mega Minion, so the dragon cannot start to work on that bowler. But we have done. Down goes my prince in the back there, and then we're going to drop the knight as well to distract that bowler. So we take that down. Unfortunately, that lightning does do some damage, but this time I'm now pushing with the balloon as well. So we have our balloon going in on that tower, which it's going to reach because our opponent is left with 0 elixir nearly, and he's got nothing to defend this with. Now we get that tower down to 541, and we do have a slight elixir advantage at this point in the battle as well. Now, before elixir gets 10, we're going to drop the baby dragon in the back because I don't like wasting that darn elixir. Now we're going to wait to see what our opponent does. Now he drops the musketeer, so I'm going to fireball both of these, putting down the musketeer within a slither of health. Unfortunately, a well-placed bowler means that dragon isn't going to take out that musketeer yet. Again, I'm going to drop my prince in the back here, and then I'm going to drop the goblins purely as a distraction on these musketeers' head. No, we don't. We decide to go with a skeleton army. Now, we then drop the Hog Rider in the back. There we go. So all we need is one hit off, giving us a 1-0 lead. Now that Hog Rider is going to start work on that crown tower. So he's going to get that down to just under 2,700. At this point, guys, obviously we're in double elixir now, so we're going to start our push down the opposite side to try and keep us this little lead that we have. Now our opponent does drop that miner again, so we drop the goblins on his head. Now our opponent is liking that musketeer combined with that bowler. They work quite well, so I fireball the musketeer as we can and do a bit of damage as well, but unfortunately our opponent is pushing hard down this side. So down goes the prince and then the baby dragon. Our opponent does zap those, unfortunately, to slow them down. And as you can see, our opponent is pushing again down this left hand side. Now we do drop down the knight purely as a distraction there, and then we put our Hog Rider in the center to try and take a bit of damage off that tower just in case our opponent does. So 15 seconds left, all we have to do is defend. So we utilize the fireball here, there we go, and drop down that prince. We're going to drop the goblins here on this side just in case we need him, but luckily 2 seconds left on the field, giving us a solid 1-0 victory. Again, another fun deck. Oh, the synergy of these decks is terrible, but they are fun to play. So guys, that is the Blind Deck Challenge with some of the craziest decks out there. but at least they are fun to play. Now, as you can see, guys, I have set it up to start another blind deck challenge later tonight when I get 5 minutes after doing this video. But for now, guys, that's it from me. Now, what I want you to do, guys, is all me big favour and comment below your favourite blind deck challenge deck that you've utilised so far, and maybe we will do it in a few live battles later on. So guys, that's it from me. If you like what you see, comment below. If you've not subscribed, smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you gamers next time. Take care.